All right, we are here with Elle King, which I guess the worst part about doing a show from your house is that if things break, you have to fix it yourself.
Yeah.
When I'm at the radio show, if something breaks, I just go, engineer. And I clap my hands and I
Mm.
leave, and then I come back and it's fixed. Like 10 minutes before you got here, the air went out. So we frantically tried to call you to go, what do you want to do? And you, much more of a champ than I am, because I was ready to peace out. I was ready. Just go sit. You said, let's do it. And I was like, oh, she's tougher than I am.
I didn't want to. She made me, so.
Okay, well, good. Well, neither one of us then.
No, I actually can't tell, so.
Okay, well, we'll give it about 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
So it's really good to see you.
Nice to see you.
I think we've met briefly a couple times, like on the side of things.
Yeah.
Right? Because I don't know that we've spent any real time together, but I know it's been like, hey.
Yeah. I think
Right?
I said hi to you one time at the station and maybe.
It's something like that sounds
Yeah.
right. But I just know I haven't really had the Elle King like imprint on me yet. And people that work with you love you. Dierks and I have been friends for a long, long time, and he just speaks just so lovely of you. And I guess that was my introduction to you over in this space.
Yeah.
Because I remember X's and O's. I
Yeah.
think that just when I think about my introduction to you, this is X's and O's right here. This is the first song, most widely heard song.
Yeah, still is. Yeah.
Oh, it's still, okay. So that comes out, it happens. And then that to me was you hear, it was like, oh, she did X's and O's, now she's doing the song with Dierks.
Yeah.
So how did that all come together? Just how did you get here? Like, how did the alien spacecraft arrive? Because everybody comes on a different spacecraft. How did
Totally,
yours
yeah.
arrive, and when and why?
Well, I was writing X's and O's thing. I mean, maybe I still am. I don't know. But I wasn't super. The worlds are very, very separate. And I was so in the alternative kind of rock pop thing because X's and O's came out as alternative and it crossed over to pop and became a big song. And then I got a call and I was asked if I would want to sing on a country song, and I didn't know who Dierks Bentley was. I wasn't in that.
So you just got a call.
Yeah.
So someone basically heard your texture, for lack of a better word there,
Yeah.
and said that would sound good on this
Dierks
song.
did. Dierks and Mary, his manager, who's now my manager.
Right.
And I didn't know who he was, so I called my brother. My family's from Southern Ohio, and I said, his name is Noah, but everyone's Bob. And I said, hey, Bob, this guy named Dierks Bentley wants me. Dierks Bentley? Ellie, you have to do that. You have to do that. So I was like, oh, well, okay, cool, man. Hopefully my brother will think I'm cool. So I did it, and they were so accommodating. And they said, yeah, we'll meet you. I was in Austin playing a show, and I didn't know he flew his own plane in, and he's so not like, he's so lovely and wonderful, and made me feel very, like, welcome. And I hadn't done, like, a whole lot of collaborations at that point, and it was just really, really fun. He let me play banjo on it, and we just kind of laughed a lot, and the whole thing was maybe a couple of hours. And
So he flew to Austin to meet you in a studio there?
Yeah.
So you were playing a show at, like Stubbs or somewhere? Or
probably, I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you.
And he's
but
like, before you play, that the day before,
yeah.
we're going to go into the studio.
Yeah, I have some buddies that run a beautiful studio called Arlen Studios, and so they just got us in there for a couple of hours, and I mean I had no idea what that would lead to, and I mean it changed my life completely, like exponentially.
When they send you a track, or when Dierks, because I just went through this, I do it's nothing like you, but I have a comedy group and we play some decently sized shows. And I wrote a song and I had to send it to one of my buddies. And I'm always weird about, not weird, but there's a fine line in asking a friend to do something professional.
It's a lot. It's a big ask, and if they're your real friend, it's especially if they're really famous. In my case, when I ask my friends to do anything with me, they're way more famous than me, and it's a weird thing.
It feels very weird, and not that it's the same, but I just reached out to my friends, and I do it in voice memo, so just couldn't save it, and I was like, I'll tell you, it was Lainey Wilson, and I said, hey Lainey, we did this song, and we opened up for Garth, and we never opened for anybody, but we wrote this song, and it went like 2 million plays on it. Do you want to sing the verse of this? You can write it. It's a comedy song. And then I'm like, I end it and I send it, and I'm like, God dang it, wish I didn't.
Yeah, and then you sweat
And then
for
I'm like, God, because I know she doesn't. Then you're like, I know they don't want to do it.
yeah,
Like I know they. But I sent her the track and it was empty, right? So I sent
yeah.
her my verse and there's an empty verse on it, just her. So my question as I get back around to that is, what did you hear from Dirk? Was it the fully produced track? Do you remember with someone else's voice in it?
I mean, honestly, I don't really remember. I believe they sent it to me, and Dierks was singing the full song, and they said, "We want you to sing verse 2."
Okay, so it was a full Dirk's version.
Yeah,
Just imagine yourself singing verse 2.
yeah.
When you sing a song, it was already written, right?
Hmm.
Do you take any liberties because you do sing, speak, communicate in your own style?
Yeah.
Do you take any liberties with when you're singing it back differently?
Um. Well, I was still really green then, and I mean, I'm still very green in all of it, but it took me years to be able to say, "Oh, I have an idea, and my idea is worthy of being said." And it. I wish. I mean, I recently wrote with this girl named Elle Langley, and she's 24 years old, and she's got the confidence that like I wish I had now, and I couldn't imagine being so confident in writing rooms and to like say ideas and I wasted a lot of time being like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, that's what we should do, and then not like being my full self. So, but then I also was like, let me just mind my p's and q's. I'll sing whatever you want me to do. I play banjo very poorly, but I could make it work and I could do this and. I just did what they asked, and then I mean, I was like shown the country world, which is a completely different experience than I had ever seen ever. So
I want to play a clip of that. This is Different for Girls from 2016. Here you go.
It's different for girls when their hearts get broke. They can't take it back together with a whiskey.
I'm assuming there was no, hey, we feel like this is going to be a single, or did they?
I don't remember.
I'm asking you a lot to remember, and I know, and it's pre-pandemic. I don't remember much either.
I also had I was in a very different, excuse me, I was in a very different situation, with people that I worked with. So I don't think that I had any control or was even part of any conversation.
I guess I asked that because it's a whole different ball game if you're about to be on a single with Dierks, because especially if it's a collaboration,
Yeah.
especially if it's a song that has some substance to it, right? Like, and it
Yeah.
was all of this. It was a collaboration. It was a substance song. It was a male-female. So you're about to not only be on the radio and in Nashville, but you're going to be on every show. They're going to be throwing you on award
I
shows.
had no idea.
Yeah, yeah. And I think maybe they would have told you that had they known all that was coming, but it sounds like you just were baptized by, okay, here's the Nashville Fire. Here's the single. You're running.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I like.
Right. And you talk about banjo. That's such a natural instrument for country. And I say that as someone who grew up in a rural town in Arkansas, but also grew up in the 90s. So I listened to everything. I worked on hip hop stations. I worked on pop stations, sports stations. Like I grew up and listened to country music my whole life, but that isn't all I am. Right. And so you come from musically a stylistically different world, it seems, for a second. But you also play an instrument that is very traditional in the country music world, which is the banjo.
Yeah.
So how did you start playing the banjo if that's not really, you're not growing up in Kentucky around bluegrass,
I actually am from Southern Ohio.
which is near Kentucky? Well, there you go.
Yeah. And I didn't grow up playing the banjo. We lived in Columbus. My mom was a fit model. And so my mom would take a lot of trips to Hong Kong. And where my family is from, where I call home, is Jackson, Ohio. Wellston is a small town. And so I spent a lot of my childhood there with my mom and papa. I didn't play the banjo there ever.
Is mama, papa, grandma, grandpa?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, my mother's parents.
So you have okay. This is how I think a lot of people's minds are twisted about you right
Yeah.
now. We just know Elle King, pop, alternative. Later, it's Elle King, daughter of L.A. comedian, famous guy. We only know L.A. Elle King.
Yeah.
The fact that you grew up in rural Ohio
Yeah.
actually says so much more about who you actually are. He's the word actually there twice. Than I think even I had an idea of.
I moved to New York City with my mom met my stepdad, who, I mean, basically showed me everything about music, mainly rock and roll and soul, which is like kind of everything that like fuels me. So we moved to New York when I was 11, and then I would go back and forth, and I would see my dad in LA or San Francisco when I could. I didn't start playing the banjo until I moved out, and I saw a guy playing the banjo when I was living in Philadelphia in a park, and I was like, man, let me try that. I can kind of play guitar. And I was like, oh, this is completely different. That guy let me borrow that banjo that like him and his dad made for a couple years. And a couple years later, he was like, hey, can I have my banjo back? So I just taught myself how to play. But what people don't know is that I got signed to a publishing company because of a country song, a song I wrote on the banjo called Good to Be a Man. And I went in and I played it for, I think it's now Sony, but it was EMI. And I went in and I just played my banjo song, Good to Be a Man. And he signed me on the spot and sent that song to Peter Edge, who's big guy at RCA. And they signed me. I got signed because of a country song.
When you were, let's say, your formative years, let's put you at age 15.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to 15. What were you listening to? Because that was around the time for me when it was Chili Peppers, Tim McGraw. It was obviously Nirvana had come and they had just gone, meaning Kurt Cobain had died, but their explosion was just starting. So those formative years for me were that. What were those for you around 15, 16?
You know, I grew up in a house with probably, I don't know, countless records. My stepdad is like, he's kind of a dick about music. Like when they call him Good Times as a joke because when he walks into a party, he's like, I take over the music. So he just always let me fumble through his records. So everything from he played me a lot of soul, but a lot of like garage rock and roll. And then I was, a teenager living in Brooklyn. So I listened to a lot of hip hop and like, I love Tribe Called Quest and I love Wu-Tang and I love everything. And I like to play everything. I love reggae so much. My son loves reggae. We listen to reggae all day long. But I think what moved me the most is not a genre. It's like a feeling. So what really like stuck out to me was emotional singers. So like I remember listening to Otis Redding when I was, like 14 years old and being like, I feel like there's pain in there. What is that I feel and connect with? And then I remember hearing, I don't know, I must have been 15, and my stepdad, Justin, he gave me a Cat Power record called The Greatest. And it was like the saddest record I've ever heard. And on the record, there's a song called Hate, and she's singing like, I hate myself and I want to die. And I wasn't like turned off by it. I was like, wow, this woman feels something and she puts it into music. And me as a listener who's, going through emotions in life, and I'm such a deep, deep feeler. I like wanted to hug her, and I felt like hearing all this different type of music, especially something so raw and vulnerable and real as that, gave me the okay to channel a lot of like emotions that I have into music, whether it's like I want to party all the time, or like my heart's been broken, or I'm sad and blue, or like I'm happy. I don't know, just any emotion. I now have this cathartic way to get it out, because otherwise I think I would explode. So I listened to everything, and I don't know. It's funny because now people are like, so like how'd you end up in country? And I kind of did trip and fall into like a very cush like landing in country, and I mean Dierks brought me into that, but like the world that I saw of country was so just incredible, and there's a reason why people want to come to country. And but what I saw from it was people are really happy and people are kind to each other. And I remember my first, I think it was the CMA experience, and I got on the worst dress list. I wore like fringe tassel pants. They said I looked like a matador person. I was like, all right, I'm on a list. And I was backstage, and everyone's doors were open, and someone offered me a drink, and they're like, that person's really famous. And I saw Taylor Swift, and she said she liked a song on my record. And I was like, okay, well, all right, I can just crawl into a cave and never come out again because this is the greatest experience of my life. And it was just really different because, you know, I grew up seeing a lot of unhappiness, and in the pop world, I felt like I had to like claw so hard and work and fight for this place to be this person that I thought I had to be. And it wasn't until I kind of kept trying to stick around in this country vibe, which was so fun, and I felt like I just felt accepted. And that's not something that like a lot of performers feel in a lot of different ways. So
A couple questions that I don't want to let slip by because you said so much there. Back to when you're listening to music, and you mentioned Cat Power, you mentioned these records that you had heard that made you realize music was more than just a melody, right? Or just lyrics.
Yeah.
There's actually words that could make you feel something. Can you remember the first song or songs that you actually felt were written not by you, but for you?
oh
And I can give you an example to let you think. It's
Okay.
kind of what I do. I'll ask a question. If you hear me just start giving my story, it's just because I want a good answer from you, and I don't want
Yeah.
I want you to feel rushed.
yeah.
For me, I was early 20s, and John Mayer, Stop This Train. That record came out, and when I heard the song, and you know, it's like, here's John Mayer, a guy struggling with, he's in that age of like mid 20s, and he's like, well, the only thing I'm good at is, you know, staying young. And he'd always been the youngest. And I was the same way, where I was like this really young in the world of broadcasting. I was by far the youngest, 15 years younger than. And now I started to catch up, and I started to be, and I was like, man, the only thing I've ever been good at is being young.
Yeah.
And so he wrote this song, Stop This Train, about time and parents getting older. And I was like, oh my God, I feel that. Like, I actually feel what he's saying. And it's the first time in my life that has ever happened. It's not just a song that I was like, made me feel sad or happy. It was like, oh, he's speaking for me.
Yeah.
When I ask you that question, can you remember a song that you heard that spoke for you?
I mean, there's always been music that like I'm the kind of person that if I like love a song and I connect with something, like I have to like live in it, and like I'm a one song on repeat until I can't hear it anymore.
Yeah.
So there's been like a lot of those all throughout my life. I mean, one huge one. This is gonna be so bad. I think maybe Barbara Lynn. You're gonna need me. And it actually wasn't until I was older, but like I listened to that song so much when I was going through my divorce because it was just like people are gonna hurt you, and then they'll miss you, and they'll realize that you are good, and it's important to hear stuff like that. I mean, music is such an amazing thing for the world because at the end of the day, it's the soundtrack to life, and it's our connection, and that's, you know, even pop songs that like you might not think like are deeply rooted in emotion, they might be. Another one, I mean, I just can't remember like all of the ones from my teenage years because there's probably too many.
Right. It's funny you mentioned pop songs that you may not think are emotional just because of maybe a tempo.
Yeah.
A tempo is one example, right? And one of those songs that I think of when you say that is, and again, it's a pop song, and sometimes it's on 11 o'clock going, you should buy the record of all the greatest hits. The Proclaimers, and I would walk 500.
Yeah.
That is such a love song.
Yeah.
Like,
it's beautiful.
when I wake up, I know I'm going to be the man that wakes up next to you.
Yeah.
And it's like, but instead it's presented as such a da-da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, this is kind of goofy.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of extrapolate
Yeah.
you're like, God dang, that is quite the powerful song.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the LSD collaboration. There was a song called Thunderclouds that was like blew my mind. And when I had a really bad knee injury, and
Oh, that's skiing? That's skiing
yeah, I'm
accident?
not a skier. I'm like a potato on toothpicks.
Anymore, or you were never?
I'll try anything twice. I've skied twice.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 scars on my knee from it. I'm not like a physical guy. It's not for me. I like to even sit at concerts. I don't know. I'm a great chair dancer. But I heard that song and I was like very immobile. I'm always hurt, by the way, because I'm just very clumsy and I don't pay enough attention. Like I have a sprained ankle right now. but I make it chic. And I remember like feeling really crappy in my body because my weight fluctuates all the time. And I never wanted to feel like I can't like run or I'm limited by my body. And I heard that song and I would like, I would listen to it on repeat and I would start to exercise. And I was still coming like off of my divorce. And most of these songs that I feel like were written for me or from my divorce. But I would like listen to that pop song and cry while I worked out. I don't work out anymore, but when I did, I would listen to that song.
I want to play and take a little sidestep here. This is Elle with Dierks. This is Worth a Shot, the new one here.
But baby, it's worth a shot. One shot from the top of the shelf, maybe two, what the hell? 'Cause we've been on the rocks. One shot, maybe all that we got. I don't know about you, but I think it's worth.
So does Dierks owe you a favor? I mean, do you have a free coupon that's like, I would think you're like, all right, I did that song. It's quite the hit. Like, whenever I'm ready, I'm going to cash this in.
No.
Oh, come on.
No. This was, it was like it happened very quickly. The whole process of this record was, it just kind of organic, like, it really did happen super organically. And I'm learning, I'm still, every day, I'm continuing to learn, like, how different it is to be in country music and to, there are no fans like country music fans, and they're lifelong fans, and you have to kind of prove it to them. And once you do, then they love you. And so when the whole thing with, Drunk came out and, I signed with a second label, Sony Nashville. And they're like, well, okay, how are you gonna? We'll play it on the radio, but like, how are you gonna follow it up? Like, why should we play Drunk? And so okay, well, let's make an EP. And then the EP came together, and it was like really, really. I mean, it's really good. So they said make a whole record, and I was like, twist my arm. So it kind of came about where "Worth a Shot" was a song that was going to make it on Dierks' record. And I'm making the record with Ross Copperman, and he just said, well, what about this? And we were just laughing, like, well, what if Dierks sang on it? And I also feel like I couldn't make a country record and not kind of pay my respects not only did he bring me into this, but changed my life in so many ways, and he's a wonderful friend. And we genuinely enjoy being around each other. He's very funny, and when you do things like this with a friend, some of these things can feel like work. And when you do stuff with someone like Dierks, it's your stomach hurts from laughing, and it's, I don't know, it just. But I had to text him and ask him.
But did you, or could you just go to Mary Hilliard and be like, hey, since you have both of them? I mean, that's what I would have done. I've been like, hey, because Mary's been with Dierks forever.
Yeah. No, she was like, no, you need to text him.
Okay, so
you need to text him and ask him.
That's classic. Okay, that is very much on brand for her.
Yeah.
That she would still make you do it.
Yes.
And what's the message that you, because even though he owes you don't have to say yes to that, but even though he does, you have a coupon, you still have to ask, and it's awkward.
It is awkward.
What do you say? Do you text it? Do you voice memo it like I do so it won't stay around?
People can keep those.
Yeah, but they don't. They forget. They're always
I keep everyone.
Like 2 minutes later, like, oh, I should keep that. And then it's gone.
Like, I press keep before I listen.
I will never send you one. So do you just text and be like, hey, have a song, you want to be on it?
It's different when you have to, like, when I texted Miranda for Drunk, it was a different text. With Dierks, it was still like, I felt mortified because for me, I value like our friendship, and I have some severe paranoia of growing up with, a famous dad, that I never want to be I never want to be a taker. I never want to seem like I don't like users. I don't want anything from you. If if I become friends with you, it's like, that's enough. But if you did want to do this,
right.
It's always like, hey, I love you. I heard that you didn't want to like put this song on your record. Like, Ross gave it to me. Maybe if you'd be interested, like, would you want to sing on it with me? no pressure, absolutely no
You can
pressure.
say no. I promise you can say no. Heck, I'd say no. That's what I say on mine.
Yeah.
I'd say
I
no
wouldn't
to
want
me.
to do
Yeah,
it.
I suck. There's no way I'd want to do this with me. But if you do.
Yeah.
And so how long until he goes, yes?
He sent me a very, like a video of him going, woo, yeah, I want to do it. Yeah, I'd love to. But that's Dierks, you know?
And I guess he had some familiarity with the song.
He knew it, yeah.
Right, so.
And we changed the key. So he even did a higher harmony. I mean, his voice is very incredible. And I think that we sound good together. And Dierks wouldn't do it if he didn't want to. He has enough going on.
Right.
So, yeah.
I do want to talk about exes. No, excuse me. I do want to talk about Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home. If you'll play that one, Mike.
So bartender, take my keys. What do you want from me, baby?
I mean, massive. Just massive over in this world. I mean, holy crap. Congratulations.
Thank
'Cause
you.
it's one of those rare ones that's so big that it's a unicorn that you see maybe twice a year. And it's one of those. But I guess I wonder what your relationship was with Miranda before this, if you had one. And because that's one that I would think would be a little more difficult if you don't have that relationship, or easier because you don't have that relationship, because you can just avoid it the rest of your life. That's what I would do. I'd be like, oh, you said no? I'll never see you again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote Drunk with Martin Johnson when I was 24.
That really? So
Yeah.
years ago. Wow.
Yeah. We wrote, I had 2 days, two session days with him. We wrote America's Sweetheart, which is a song off my first record that, I mean, should have been a country song.
Which, by the way, that one, I know that one too really well. Was that after or before X's and O's?
Same record.
Okay, so because I guess maybe which was first as a single? They were both singles, right?
America's Sweetheart was never a single.
What?
I thought America's Sweetheart was going to be a single. I thought Drunk was going to make the record. I just had I didn't know that I had a say, and it just kind of takes life to teach you. But I'm glad that it didn't, because I had a manager that didn't want me to be pop, and so he really, I had no idea. Kind of, I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but he really tried to bury that, and I was like, man, that's kind of a kick-ass song, and so, but I still hadn't had my confidence in writing rooms yet. So Drunk, that I always thought was like, dang, that's a massive chorus, but I hated the verses, and it took me, I mean, I don't want to age myself, but I was probably 24, and then how many years ago, I know I'm all over the place right now.
No, please be.
So we were sitting on that song, and then in the last like 3 or 4 years, I signed a red light, and I've been working with Mary, and I was like, Mary, I've got this song that's like we got to sell it to a DJ or something. And Martin and I hadn't spoken in years, and out of the blue, he texted me and he was like, hey, like, would you want to sing on a song on my record? And I was like, yo, you got it. Funny you texted me, because I think that we should rewrite the verses for Drunk. Now, I met Miranda through Dierks. Dierks brought Miranda to one of my shows at, I think, Marathon Works or
Marathon Music Works?
Marathon Music Works, yeah. And I met her, and like I had like was embarrassed because I was learning about in-ears, and I felt like I did a bad job. And here's like this super mega star, and I may not know much about country music, but I know who she is. And she was really cool and really nice. And then I would see her kind of like at award shows, because Dierks and I got nominated for a Grammy, and it was kind of like, hey, what's up? And then I was doing nothing in country for 2 years. I was opening for like rock bands. I did like a very long tour with Hart and Joan Jett, and Brandi Carlile was on it. And then Miranda asked me to be direct support for Roadside Bars and Pink Guitars. And so we would kind of hang every night. And then she had, we did the Fooled Around and Fell in Love thing. And so every night at the end of the night, we'd all get up on stage, and then she's got Wanda, this like trailer that's a bar and loud music, and just to hang. And it's like, her tour is like the dream, makes everyone feel welcome. And so we kind of just like became cool. And country tours are so smart, because you do like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you wake up on the bus in Nashville on Sunday, and you can have a few days with your family. So I would come back, and I was writing with Martin, and we rewrote Drunk in 15 minutes. And me and Mary were just talking. We're like, what if it's a duet? What if we ask Miranda? And I was like, well, how do we ask Miranda? It's like, girl, you got to text her. You need to send her the song. You need to just do it. And I was like shaking. hey, like, I love you so much. Like, I miss you from the tour, and thank you so much for everything. I have this song. And I said to her, it's true. I said, you're the only person I'm asking. If you say no, it's not going to be a duet. Like, I'm so grateful for the tour. It was so much fun. Like, if you would at all be interested in doing this, like, let me know. Like, like, and if you don't like it, lie to me. So, she didn't text me back for a whole day. And the next day, she texted me back and she said that it was really catchy and she heard her husband singing it in the shower. And so she said yes. And neither of us, I knew it was a big chorus, but we were going to go to pop and alternative with it. Neither of us, we still laughed because we were like, we did not think that it was going to do what it did, which is a beautiful thing. And that song alone taught me so much about allowing things to have a life of its own. And it's really helped me to like not put pressure on things and kind of give room for, I don't know, sometimes things to do it themselves.
My wife she doesn't listen to a lot of contemporary country. She grew up in Oklahoma and listened to a lot of 2000s country. Now she's very much into emo pop type thing. But she came in the other day and she was like, hey, you know what my new jam is? I was like, what's that? She goes, well, it popped up on like my emo pop playlist. I was like, what? And she was like, drunk and I don't want to go home. And I was like, that's just now getting to you? She goes, well, I don't listen to what you do. I said, it only comes to me through this way. She was like, that's a good song, huh? And I was like, yeah, it's a really good song. If you're asking me 8 months ago when I was listening to it, I said, but it's great that it's still living, right? Like it's the life of it is still new to people because it is still such a good song. It is growing now in other places that's not just country, which is kind of where it started, in a place that didn't really have a home in a good way.
Yeah.
Like it was just art that you had written.
Yeah.
And you didn't really have a genre or name, or it was
No, it was all for my first record. I wouldn't bring a guitar to these sessions. I brought my banjo. I was just like a banjo chick.
You were the banjo chick. That is wild. You know, my perception, I'll just be honest with you, my perception of you is completely different than what I'm experiencing now, because this is what I felt when you came to town, you did the song with Dierks, that you were a massive LA star. And I think this is how a lot of people feel because they don't know you. So I'm glad that we're actually able to sit down and have these extended conversations. Massive LA music star who I've heard on pop radio or satellite or, who is probably thinking she's doing country music a favor, is really good at this, does all these massive shows, and, she'll be here for a couple weeks and get her hit and bail out. Like that, because you came from, it's not, now you learn it's not even that world. Like you had your own version of the musical world you were living in. I was completely wrong about where you were coming from.
Most people are about me, to be fair.
And I think what is great is now we get to learn why our understanding was off.
Yeah.
First of all, that you spent a lot of your life, 1 to 11, and then back and forth in, Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
I have friends that are from there. That's as rural as it gets. Like you're influenced by everything.
Yeah.
Country music included in that. And then again, I just thought you were a big LA music star coming to grace us with their presence.
Oh.
And then chunk deuces. But and I mean this in the best way possible, but to hear and understand that you were in your own version of finding yourself at the same time.
Yeah. Still am.
Me too, right? That is a different picture that I'm repainting of you. And I'm glad I got to hang out and learn that version, because I just thought, well, all right, she's going to come do us a favor.
Oh.
Hop down here, do a couple hits, and get out of town and go back to our fancy schmancy Los Angeles.
No. I live on a farm in Rhode Island, by the way.
So you live on a farm too? What's happening? I have no idea who she is. Like it's all misconception. All 100% of me and Elle King is misconception at this point. She had no idea. Okay, well, that is good to know. Not that it matters, but
No.
but I think that I think even with your dad being famous, I think we thought, oh, rich Hollywood kid.
A lot of people think that, yeah.
And and I would understand why, because
I saw that. But my childhood had two like very big extremes. I had a dad that was I mean, in the early 2000s, forget even SNL. I mean, yeah, I've got some memories of being backstage at Saturday Night Live, I didn't spend a lot of time with my dad. And
Your biological father.
yeah,
Got it.
my dad, Rob, yeah. I didn't spend a lot of time with him, and I would see him, he would get me for like a little bit of time, but spent a lot of time with his mother, my Filipino grandmother, who's recently passed on. And so I saw very different lifestyles. My dad was like a really big movie star in the early 2000s, and it was interesting to see. But then my mom's side of the family, which is why I go by King, because that they raised me. And I don't know, I if you go through Southern Ohio, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but like that's what home is to me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it, and I love to go home. My family still lives there. So I don't know. It was an interesting way to grow up, to see both extremes. I'm glad that I had it, because I saw what can happen with fame, and I saw what can happen with money. And I'm always like a watcher. I take everything in, almost to like a paranoid point. But I'm glad that I saw a lot of that,
My quick version of why I'm asking this question is I didn't have a dad. My dad left when I was 5, until I was 33, until I chased him down myself. I had no relationship. And so we were estranged for a long time. It doesn't sound like, or were you guys estranged at all through your childhood?
No,
So
no.
so he was still were you able to be a fan of his work? Because you didn't resent him. It was just you would see him at times. Because I resented mine terribly.
Do I have daddy issues? Like,
Not asking, as a kid, were you angry, happy that he was your dad? Like, what's 13-year-old Elle think about her dad being famous?
yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of, I've done a lot of therapy in my life, which has really helped me like unload brick by brick of the crap that we carry our whole lives. But yeah, like I resented him a lot. Me and my dad have a good relationship now, and I love him a lot, and I appreciate him. And him having young children really kind of, I don't know, it helped our relationship. And but yeah, I was a really, really angry teenager. I was labeled a bad kid, but I think it was just, now that I'm a mother, I can understand, like, you just label them bad kid instead of thinking like, well, maybe their needs aren't being met, or like what is going on with them, or like what do they not have that is nurturing them. And for me, a lot of it was like I felt like my dad didn't like want, like he was like embarrassed of me, because I was like a chubby teenager, and my mom's this like beautiful model, and my dad is this like funny, goofy comedian, but cares very much about what he has to look like on screen, because that's his career. And so it was a weird thing. I was like the chubby, goofy kid, and no one expected me to get any level of success at all.
Because of I'll do finger quotes, the bad kid that you were?
Not even the bad kid, more like the fat kid, like the goofy kid. I went to a lot of schools. I got kicked out of a lot of schools. I wasn't a very good kid. And I don't know, I just always played music. And I mean, I had residencies in Brooklyn at like 16, 17 years old. And my mom was supportive. She'd help me. She'd carry my guitar and whatever. But like nobody thought that out of all like the kids in my family, like my dad's brother had 3 daughters that were like beautiful ballerinas. They thought they were going to be like famous actresses, singers, and blah, blah, blah. And I kind of, I don't know, nobody thought that I was going to do it, especially because I didn't want to use my dad's name. I mean, when I kind of started to get successful, we hadn't been talking for years.
That also wasn't your name, right?
My legal name is Tanner L. Schneider.
Oh, it is. Okay, so
Yeah.
you okay, got it. Got it.
I started using my mother's last name like as a teenager, and I just wanted to use that name, not because, I mean, probably because I was angry and it's cooler, but also like that was my family, and I worked very, 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 very hard to get signed, to get any tour, to play any show ever. And I never wanted anyone to say you got it because your dad. And he knows this now, and because he didn't do anything. I worked my ass off, and I didn't want to be connected to that.
This is what my therapist asks me all the time, and I struggle with it. But, and this may be the dumbest question you've heard, and you can answer it so easily, but are you proud of yourself for what you've been able to do? Or do you struggle with being proud for yourself?
Sometimes it's important to be able to kind of like step outside of the snow globe and see the glory of it, especially if, I'm not like a cookie cutter person. So I feel like I have to fight less hard now, but I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud that my son gets to see two parents that have very strong drive in their field, and that I want my son to see that he is more important than my career, but I want him to see that I can do this. And I take him on tour with me, like he comes first, and I want him to be a part of this. That's always been my dream.
How old is he?
He's 9 months.
So he's not doing a lot of communicating yet. He's taking a lot in so far.
I mean, yeah, he talks shit in his own way,
Yeah.
but yeah, he takes it in. But he's cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Did being a mom alter a lot of the feelings you had about being a kid?
Yeah, it gives. I mean, I have so much empathy. I mean, my parents were very, very young, and it softens me on them. I couldn't imagine doing any of this in my early 20s, and my mom had two of us. So more empathy for my mother than my dad, but especially because, my partner is an incredible father and is very, very present and very hands-on. But I don't know. All of it makes me the mother that I am, and I think I'm a good mother. I mean, I also think I'm a shit mother, but I care very, very much, and I want to be a good mom, and I want to be a very present person because I also have a career that is different from my dad, but I am realizing that like I am in this entertainment industry, but I want to do it differently, and that's a huge thing that I love about country music is that they come back and they're with their families and there's family tours. I mean, I'm touring like all year with Stapletons, and like I bring my son. Like it's I feel very safe about that, and I don't know. It's just I'm gonna do it my own way though.
When you're an artist, you're more than a musician. You're an artist, especially hearing you talk about the different ways you're affected by art. Do you have the other art skills like drawing? Can you? I don't know what else can you do creatively? Because I just feel like I'm looking at all your tattoos. Like there's something in you that just wants to always make an impact on something through creation. So what else is it? How else do you fulfill yourself doing art?
It's very nerdy, but I love.
I don't know what you're about to say.
I love crafting.
Okay. I used to work at Hobby Lobby. I feel that.
Sick.
See?
I love
there you
Hobby
go.
Lobby.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It comes out in different ways, and I don't always get to have. I'm never in one place for very long, so it was weird because during the pandemic, I got really, really into a very specific type of tie dye, which is shibori, which is like a Japanese technique of folding and then natural indigo dye. So it's like really beautiful and very intricate, and in hopes of having a baby and getting pregnant, because we were trying, I made all these like extremely intricate and beautiful like baby blankets, and I love tie-dyeing. I asked for a sewing machine for Christmas, and I'm making everybody baby blankets with like applique, so it's like very nerdy. I like super intricate things. It helps me shut my mind off if I'm just like busy work. I like to knit, crochet. When I was younger, I went to art school. I thought I wanted to be an editor. I wanted to make music videos or short films. And I got really into illustrations. And I mean, I don't know if I'm good at that anymore. Worst handwriting in the world. Worst handwriting in the world.
Are you messy? Like around the house? Car?
It's different now that I'm a mom. I'm very neurotic. I think because it's so like not that we're unstable, but because we haven't bought a house here yet, and we live out of suitcases. So, I have systems, like routines and systems in our chaos. So like folding techniques and organization is like a massive thing.
Are you a control freak?
100%.
Yeah, I would think so.
But I think that might come and stem from a place of not feeling like I had any control as a kid.
Completely get it. Same. I'm
Yeah.
such a control freak.
Yeah.
But because I was a poverty kid and had no control of anything else.
Yeah.
But everything I could control, I controlled completely.
Yeah.
And that has, I mean, it still lives in me. And I have a wife, so I don't control as much. But things away from her, like I'm such a control freak that now I can also see why it's not good sometimes.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Took a long time.
But you can only hope that no matter when it comes, you are able to see it. You know? Some people don't
Sometimes
ever.
I didn't want to see it though.
Well, because when you see it, you have to acknowledge it, and you have to.
And I didn't want to acknowledge it.
Right. Exactly.
Because it was working for me. I was being rewarded through my career
Yeah.
with the things that got me to that point to be a control freak. So why would I try to fix that? Heck, I was scared to go to therapy. I was like, I don't want to come to therapy. If I had fixed, I'm gonna be a failure. Like my fear was going to therapy would make me a failure because it was going to wash away some of the struggle that had gotten me to therapy.
Oh, which like is a drive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, chill.
Yeah.
You're good, homie.
No. It will only like deepen your drive. In a
He's like,
weird
I ain't
way.
gonna fix you anyway. You can't. He's like, yeah, wait, you're here to get fixed. Like this is, you're not a car, not a carburetor. We can just plug up.
Yeah.
But wow, I see that you are hosting the CMA Fest show.
Yeah.
That is, first of all, good for you.
Thanks.
That's
yeah.
awesome for you and Dierks. I've hosted that show before.
How was it?
Well,
I went to it
yeah.
one time. Yeah.
This is what you will love working for Robert. I worked with him there, and I do the CBS New Year's show, and love him. It is the same clothes for 4 nights. Because
Love that though.
Yes, I agree. Yes, that part's good.
I dress loud, man. If
I know,
if I got
but
a sick outfit, I'm gonna wear it 4 days in a row.
Here's the good part. One, you only got to pay for one outfit, unless you get a backup in case you spill on it, right? They may be like, we need to
Fair.
get a.
I might have 2 because performance and hosting.
Well, I mean, hosting outfit.
Right.
Like,
Right.
It's
Yes,
4
of course.
days. It's the same
Right.
thing. You may have a second one in case you spill something.
Yeah. Fair.
So with that, that's
we,
good.
We didn't get that. Maybe we should text Tiff.
Yeah. So that's a good part of it. But the second thing is about day 2 in the same clothes. You're like, do I stink? Like, do I? It's a lot of waiting around, a whole lot, and you got to be there all the time.
Yeah.
Just in case something goes down. But you're gonna love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're gonna spend 4 days and all these hours doing it, and then they're gonna show up for like an hour and a half, and you're gonna be like, that was 4 days. I just did.
Yeah.
You used a 12-second clip for 4 days. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But TV's just weird.
It is weird.
It's weird. But congratulations. That's really freaking
Thank you.
cool that you're doing that.
Thank you.
You and Dierks.
It's very cool to me because my experience with it was, it was during Different for Girls, and it's funny that your perception of me was that I was like some big LA
For sure.
because when I performed that song with him, that was the biggest live audience that I'd ever played for, and I walked off stage, and I remember people were like grabbing at me, and they put me on the golf cart, and we went like whatever past the stage, and I had them pull over, and I put my face in a corner and I cried because it was like such a big moment for me. So when they asked me to host it, I was like, yeah.
And they're probably going, I don't know if we should ask her. She's probably gonna think this is nothing. If we ask,
No, it's a huge deal for me. But all of these things, I still get very, very excited.
good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've lost a lot of that because I just think I'm gonna screw it up, and so I don't have excitement. I have
So you let the anxiety get.
fear of never being able to work again because I screw up so bad, no one's ever gonna hire me.
Oh,
again.
see, my thing is I always mess up. So the bar is low.
So you're gonna mess up. So
Part of my charm, babe.
okay, well, my charm is that the bar can't. I don't have a whole lot of talent. So if I can't really screw up that much. So I can't allow it to screw up because I don't have a lot of anything else. Can't really sing that well. Only mildly funny. It's just a thing but I'm like, well, if this doesn't work and the ratings are terrible, I'm never gonna get hired again. I like that though, that you're just like, oh, I suck. That's what I need to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's
It's worked for you.
all of this stuff is from our childhood trauma, right?
For
and
sure.
so all of it, it's like, I don't know. It's not that I don't have confidence in myself because
Same.
I actually, I don't know how I come off as. I don't know if I know what I look like, and I know that, like, I'm a loud ass bitch. Not like,
No, not vocally, not
no, yeah.
volume level.
And I hope not as much as I used to be, but like energetically, I hope I'm not. But like, I look loud, you know? But it's taken me a long time to like be okay in my body. And so I had to fake a lot of like really hardcore confidence, which is like very tough exterior, but like inside I'm like pudding, you know? And so now I'm just trying to kind of like mend the two of like, I'm a softie. I don't have as much to prove anymore. So maybe I can like like layer by layer, just like let it kind of chill.
I think that's life, right? Trying to mend it, trying to figure out the perfect mend.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully try to heal and like get to a place of, you know what, this is good. I'm happy.
I feel like I'm going to figure it out, and then the next day I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I figure out. I think that's what happens, right? We're always
Yeah.
like, I'll finally figure it out.
Yeah.
Then we
that's
die,
it.
and that's it.
I think that's life. It's like, oh, that's what it is. Yeah, you're dead. Sick.
And I'm going to share it with you. And then somehow somebody up there pushes a button and
Like, cut it-
kills.
cut it-
yeah,
cut it
he
off,
knows.
cut it
He
off.
knows. Shut
Too
it
soon.
down now.
His time has come.
Yes. Okay, look. I'm only mildly sweaty, so I'm going to count today as a success. I appreciate you sitting through and being in the sauna here.
This is not hot.
Okay.
Is this the hot seat? Because I feel cool.
Maybe I'm just so comforting an interview that it's cool to you. You ever
Yeah.
think about that?
Maybe.
Yeah. It's a little toasty, I'm not going to lie. Let me say this. The new song, which I think you're coming up to the radio show tomorrow to play. Is that true? Yeah?
Yes.
Dang, we're going to find out if you can really sing. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I hope you guys have auto-tune.
Ooh. Yeah, I wish. They don't give us anything. So Elle and Dierks, worth a shot. Now, the entire body of work that you've been creating that was so good, it's went from an EP to an LP.
No, don't build this up. Now, don't you use it against
no,
me.
you
Don't.
said that. No. I'm only.
Come on.
You said it to me. I'm holding a mirror back up. Someone found it to be just good enough.
Fair enough. If you take it off me, then it's
Yes.
like, yep, yeah.
Someone else found it to be just good enough to say, hey, you should make more songs and make a record. When is that whole thing happening?
I would like to know.
Okay, so that there's not a date that I don't have. That I'm
No,
not sharing.
because
Got it.
I'm soon.
Got it. And I don't even need a date. I just didn't want to miss something. If it's like, yeah, idiot, it's out Friday. Okay, so it's not. But the new song's out. Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home, massive. Are you guys still pushing that in places? In other form? No? Well, it's showing up. That's the crazy part about it. It's still showing up in places. Count your money. That's awesome. Keep counting it. It's coming. Congratulations on everything, really.
Thank you.
And the baby and just...
Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate myself because I found out a lot about you that I did not know. And that usually happens here, but I'm usually not wrong on just general perception. Pretty good. Pretty good at that. I swung and missed big time on you, I'll be honest with you. And so I'm really glad that you came in. And Mike, you?
It's awesome.
Just like, yeah, who knew? Who knew she was cool, you know? All right, you guys follow Elle King at ELLE King. And I guess I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly, I want to say, like, thanks for giving me the opportunity to, like, share more about myself because a lot of people probably have their own perception of me, and I can only be myself. So thanks for having me.
I try to be someone other than myself.
Oh,
Yeah, I like it.
that's okay.
Yeah. I want to be British sometimes. That'd be cool, huh, Mike? Dang. All right, Elle King, there she is, and we'll see you guys.